Welcome to Boosted Timing. I'm your co-host, Chris.
This is Mo. Today on the show, we got Zach Miller.
Mohammed Huzefa.
Yeah, that's my
That's
name.
my name.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm Zach Miller. Hi.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
That's what we're doing now?
That's what we're doing now. Yeah.
All right, anyway.
And in this episode, we will explore the complex concept of entitlement. We will challenge preconceptions, engage in open dialogue, and foster humility to help us better understand its impact on society.
First and foremost, dude, precursor to the entire topic, I hate entitlement. I'm entitled to things sometimes. I'm sure you guys are too. But it fucking sucks.
It sucks that you're entitled to things, or we're all entitled to
No,
things?
it sucks that entitlement in itself just exists in the world. And how it exists and how it impacts people kind of pisses me off.
Just the entire concept of entitlement. You're not on board with.
Not necessarily. I'd say if your entitlement has a means to it, like it's rooted in something and you've worked for something, I guess you're entitled to it. But
like, are you even entitled to it? If you, just because you work hard, are you entitled
let me rephrase. Pointless entitlement is
Okay.
what I'm against.
Okay.
Not entitlement as a whole. Like some people are definitely entitled to something.
Unearned
and
entitlement?
they deserve it. Unearned entitlement, best way of putting it, I suppose.
Is that like someone being outside that doesn't like you or likes people smoking cigarettes, and then they see you outside smoking a cigarette and they get a waft of it and they're going to come over and tell you not to smoke your cigarette even though you can smoke it there?
I mean, I
Like-
feel like it would depend on the situation because it is kind of rude. Keeping in mind secondhand smoke does fuck people up. So if you're smoking, say if you're smoking in a smoking designated area, I think you're entitled to be able to smoke there because it blatantly says it on a sign on a wall somewhere.
Well, I would just say, like, anytime outside. Like, if you're not outside in close proximity with
I'd
someone.
say outside works because it's like you
It's
say you
fresh
call
air.
the cops on somebody for recording you, right?
It's
The
public
cop's
space.
literally going to say it's public space. There's no expectation of privacy in this space.
Yeah.
So you're technically entitled to do whatever the fuck you want in a public space as long as you're within the means of the law.
Goes into the whole libertarian, you know,
Oh, man.
fucking, as long as you don't do anything that affects anyone else, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
I'd honestly be about that society. Would you? I'd be about it.
No, I would too. I think that's the way society should be rooted. But then it goes into the problem of there are evil people that will do bad things. So
I mean, in all honesty, that whole concept of society is our personal opinion, which we are entitled to.
that is correct. Yes.
I'd say a good segue into entitlement is I feel people are entitled when they go to fast food restaurants to disrespect the workers because they believe, this money, this penance that they've paid to you enables them to have like the fastest times, the perfect everything for minimum pay.
Basically,
And-
minimum wage, and you're working your ass off, kind of like you're somebody's slave, and people expect things out of you just because you work in this establishment.
I tell you,
Yeah.
for $10 an hour, I probably wouldn't want to do all that and get bitched at by a customer. Like,
Dude, then there's people out there that are like, $20 is $20. You pay me that an hour, I'm ready to haggle my balls off for you.
well, not for 20, but you pay me enough. Yeah,
I'd
but
say
not,
so.
but not fucking
$10,
$10, $15, $20. No.
I feel like there's a gradient, like
there
a
is.
vast majority of things I would be able to be okay doing for $20. And then there's things I would probably want $2 million for. So that's kind of like a huge gray area as to what expectations are okay for what amount of pay and what are not.
Right. Like, I'll help someone move for pizza and a case of beer. I'm not going to suck a dick for a pizza and a case of beer.
I would hope not.
Really? Yeah.
Well,
No.
Talking about entitlement and pay, I think it goes both ways from the owner of the establishment or the corporation. You're producing some sort of good and you should be, I guess, in the right sense, entitled to compensation for putting it all together, as the worker believes they are entitled to a fair day's wage that isn't just subsistence living. It is more than that.
So a fair day's wage, according to you, would be something that would keep you, happy, per se?
Well, not like happy. I would say, I have a roof over my head. I have a decent vehicle. I'm well fed and decently clothed. I don't have holes in my clothes. I might not have all the top of the line everything, but I have decent stuff.
And you're not on the street, basically.
And not on the street. And, every paycheck I'm able to put away, 10 or 15% of my wages for whatever investments or future endeavors that doesn't affect my bottom line.
So you're basically what you're saying is, I don't mean to cut you off, fair wage would be something that, while it keeps you afloat, it also gives you some leeway to expand and grow and save and hopefully put that away for, bigger and better things one day, not just fucking, I live paycheck to paycheck. I work at McDonald's. I flip burgers, make $15 an hour. I pay my rent every month, and then I'm flat broke on the first.
I'll work till I die.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Mm-hmm. At what point of type of job do we cut it off and say this isn't a job? Do you think every job should pay a livable minimum wage? DoorDash, Instacart, any
exist.
job, any job you should. DoorDash and Instacart shouldn't exist.
No, I'm saying if the job can't pay a livable wage, it shouldn't exist.
Well, what about a side hustle? What if I'm a small business owner and I'm just getting intake of cash flow from customers, and I'm the only one running the business. I don't have any employees.
See,
am I entitled for customers to buy my product?
I don't think it applies to if you're self-employed or not.
So you're just saying for the employees of a corporation or a small
how our
business.
economy functions is majority of the Americans go to work 9 to 5 a day, work for some person or some entity, either a mom and pop shop or a mega corporation,
right,
and bring home a set level of pay raise.
So really, just raise the minimum wage.
There you go. That's the argument. But here's the thing: where are we going to raise the minimum wage to? At what point does that make you or I?
Well, it depends on region, because the cost of living. So do you make it a percentage of the cost of living? Do you make it?
How do you even calculate the cost of living? Because real estate is not government controlled. I could have my rent $600 for this house, or I could have my rent $2,000.
But they take the average price of rent for say a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, and the price of a gallon of milk, and the price of the average electric bill. They take all that into consideration.
Would you think that would work?
It would make sense. Maybe too much sense.
Maybe a little too much.
A lot of things don't like to make sense nowadays.
Well, here's the issue. Prices of goods have gone up. These big corporations have raised the prices of goods, but wages for people have gone up. I think in the last 30-something years, I think it was 30 years, the prices of goods have gone up 300x.
See, I feel
wages have gone up 17% across the board.
I believe private-owned companies feel entitled to change the price of a commodity or a good as they please and have no check or balance. Whereas it comes to the body that's making wages is checked and balanced, and that they're who are they trying to feed? You think people that are setting the wages for a common man are in correlation with people that are rich and are raising the prices? You think there's a connection there? Or
there absolutely is. And
I believe so.
That's the issue with our government and our political system and all that. So,
well, I think we're getting a little bit sidetracked here from.
True, we're talking about entitlement, but this is corporate greed and political greed, which is
true.
Entitled. They feel they're entitled to better their lives while we do the work. That's a form of entitlement.
Another place I see a lot of entitlement these days is. It's kind of hard for me to say, but the trans community.
Yeah.
This is the shit that gets you canceled, boys and girls.
I know. All right. Good thing we're not making any money.
Are we treading lightly here?
So, I guess in my own experience, that I had a conversation with a trans man recently. Me and him were talking about, what it is to be a man. Me, a biological man. Them, a man through transition. And as we got down to it, we disagreed on what it is to be a man. Like I said, a man should be a protector. A man should, be able to react to a bad situation and protect you with violence if need be.
Yep.
Because that's what makes you
a man, essentially. Yeah.
That's just part of being a man. And they retorted with that it would be better to be a kind man, a man who doesn't know any violence or isn't capable of any violence, whether to protect another, to protect a stranger, just would run away and go get help and then be there to console people. And I said, that's a very sheltered way of being a man, and that's a man for a perfect time and a perfect place where there's nothing crazy going on.
See, in my opinion, I feel like what you're trying to get at is they tried to impose their definition of what it is to be a man on another man who considers himself a man. And I don't think I have a problem with their definition of being a man per se, but I have a problem with the fact that they tried to run their bullshit on you.
Yeah,
and if according to me or you that's bullshit, they have the right, in their right mind to say it and speak it and preach it, but I just don't think they should be going out there and
you can preach it, but don't be arrogant and entitled in the fact that your beliefs trump my beliefs. You have your beliefs, I have my beliefs, and you are entitled to your own opinion, not to impose that opinion on other people when they're unwilling to take that opinion.
Dude, I'm totally not against trans people at all, and I've met plenty of chill
do what you want.
Trans people that
do what you
are
want.
Just themselves. They are who they are for whatever reason they are, and they coexist with me just like any other homie, a male friend of mine would exist, or a female friend that used to be a guy, or whatever the case is. But some people are just fucking rude.
Yes.
And they try to just climb on top of your fucking back and try to spin your head weird fucking ways, then it just leads to a spiral of bullshit.
And I'm not.
There's no facts.
Yeah.
There's no actual concerns. It's just, I think, therefore I am.
We're not saying every trans person does that, but they're of every type of people, white, black, straight, gay, whatever. There are people that are entitled in the fact that they want to play the victim.
The police does it, dude.
Everyone
it's not just trans people.
Yeah,
every
play victim all the time.
Every group of people has people that try to play the victim and say life is against me, everyone's against me.
That's why I'm entitled to so and so fucking compensation.
Exactly.
And you should treat me that way because I've been through that.
Life is shitty to everyone. Life is shitty to everyone in different ways. So, your struggles aren't going to be my struggles, and they aren't going to be his struggles.
And that's not fair, but that's how life works.
But that's exactly. But everyone has their struggles.
Right.
It shouldn't really be like a pissing contest of pain. I hurt more than you hurt, or I suffered more. It should be something that is universally understood. What they are definitely entitled to is to not be dead named.
100%, not to be ruled out, excluded to society.
Roll call at different
understand.
colleges and other places because of their legal name or having issues of changing that legal name, that they'll go and get dead named. But there's a simple question, onboarding or, the accounting staff or whoever takes care of the names in the books could just ask and be like, hey, do you get called by a different name? Is there, a name you prefer to be called by?
A lot of places these days implement that, and I feel like it should be a little more widespread to, just ask somebody hey, what do you prefer to be referred to as or called? And if my name's Matt, for example, and I want to be Marissa, but I look like a Matt, as long as we have a general consensus of why I am who I am and my opinion is this and your opinion is that, as long as we can both, in a sense, respect each other and, try to coexist with our values and beliefs rather than me trying to be like, hey, you're a piece of shit because you don't call me by my actual name, and then you go out of your way to tell me that that's not my actual name, and things just turn sour. I totally agree that you should just call me Marissa if I want to be called Marissa, but I also have the duty to not try to scrub daddy that in your fucking face and respectfully ask you to humbly change your opinion.
Yeah. I guess if someone came up to me and I was just meeting a new person and they were like, hey, I prefer to be called Marissa. I don't have to agree or disagree with you doing that, but it's not really. Is it really my place to tell you can or can't do that? No.
I mean, I feel like it's not. It wouldn't be in their place to tell you something either. But at that point, what is the definition of being a good individual?
Right.
What's the definition of being inclusive?
Right. So don't I guess my thing is don't force me to have to call you Marissa, but
110%.
out of respect. If
Dude,
you
in my opinion, if I want you to call me Marissa, either of you guys, and if you choose not to, I just stop associating with you.
Right. Exactly.
We just don't mean to coexist. The world is fucking huge.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just go somewhere else or, part ways.
I just don't feel it's too hard to tell someone, this is my name. And not much more than that, because I really don't need to know much more of you than that.
I don't need to get into your personal life.
And some of the things it feels like, different communities that are disadvantaged, one is they want you to completely understand their whole being. And it's not everyone's job to know you or to understand you like that. And, that's only for the people that get close to you in your own life, that you share, these experiences with and who you are. Other than, my name is Marissa and this is my partner. So this is our dog and this is our kid. There's not much more, other people should know that are co-workers or peers.
Basically, no one's entitled to run their memorandum or their biodata upon myself just because we happen to come across each other in public.
Yeah, they're biopsychosocial.
Like in my fucking opinion, if Chris is walking around down the street and he looks like a dude, he's got a burly fucking beard, right?
Right.
I think I have the right in all my right mind to be like, hey, sir, or refer to him as, hey, man, what's up?
Well, this is getting into a whole different argument.
No, but I don't think Chris is entitled to like me
for
having preemptive knowledge on who he is.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yes.
Like public space is fucking public space.
You're
Life
a
is not
stranger.
fair,
Like, how am I supposed to know what you want to be called or what you identify as a stranger, especially if you don't look? And I understand you're struggling to look the way you want to, or you're in the middle of your change. But, like, you can't fault me for that mistake.
Yep. No, you could by all means correct somebody.
Yeah.
And if I continue, then I'm the asshole because I didn't respect you after you told me, and I've shown that I have a problem.
Dude, I feel like I have a real issue with cops feeling entitled to like some level of authority sometimes that they don't even have.
Oh, yeah.
And how we get treated at a traffic infraction. Like, they don't really go by the book. They tell us that they go by the book, but they totally feel that they're fucking entitled. And one good example of that is a cop pulling another cop over. Say you're a sheriff from Lima. And you're going through Cairo, Ohio, or Ada, or Van Wert, or whatever, and you're not in your own jurisdiction, and you're flying 95 down fucking US 30, and some other cop that's, a good cop, because there are good cops, by all means, pulls you over, and now you have a fucking power trip, and you tell this guy that I'm a cop. I was just going to the fucking precinct. What do you mean? I wasn't speeding. You sure? You sure this is what you want to do? Like, that's arrogance, birthed in the entitlement, that's angst and unfairness. Like, I know life is unfair, but we could all be fucking reasonable with each other at least.
I think, while that is a good example, I think even a better example, like you're saying, of authoritative entitlement is cops pulling over people, like, say maybe it's fucking young kids, it's people of color, whatever it is, people that may feel like inherently powerless under cops, even just anxious people, just encroaching your authority on someone and using it as a fear tactic, because I know a lot of cops do that.
I feel like instilling fear from an authoritative figure is definitely a form of entitlement.
Especially
like,
when
they
you're
feel
supposed
entitled.
to serve and protect.
I don't think they should have serve and protect on their cars anymore. Chris told me that earlier, and I totally agree.
Oh, I'll elaborate that real quick. Like, they shouldn't have to protect and serve because they went to the Supreme Court to make sure that they don't have to be there to protect, like, other people's lives. Like, their job is not to protect your life, or my life.
Do you think we're entitled to that, though? Do you think that's what the police is
why
meant
do we
for?
pay the taxes to have a guy run around with a gun?
You put money in their pockets, you are right.
Like, he's out there to what everyone thinks is, little Johnny's drowning in the river. Cop's gonna drop his gun belt or whatever it is and go in and save little Johnny. But that is not his job. Like, kids have drowned in front of cops, and they're like, I wasn't strong enough swimmer. I didn't try.
Little Johnny's not the first prerogative.
Isn't there to, like, save lives. That's why the cop that cowered outside of school shootings didn't go to jail or nothing, was because his job is not to go in there and die to save those kids' lives.
Well, it's just there to enforce laws.
Like, their job is to enforce laws. Did he get off
scot-free with that?
Yeah, like, what do you get transferred departments or something? Like, he didn't get
see, I don't agree with that. I think cops should fucking go into a school shooting and
100%. That's exactly what we're saying.
That's because they took an oath. I'm pretty sure you do with the academy too.
Correct.
Yeah, so to protect and serve. So that's not doing that.